Guys, if I would have listened to the website of the safety department of Germany, I would have never went, I think that's the right grammar, to Latin America. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about safety benefits using an international matchmaking service, because it's very different using our service and using maybe dating apps or maybe self-organized dating sites in different countries. And what is the difference between an international matchmaking service? Because some of you have reached out to us, and yeah, I'm going to address that for a moment, giving you some tips as well about what to do in Medellin. Maybe some of you haven't heard, some haven't heard, but the US government is not recommending really going to the US dating using dating apps. That's what is the subtitle here. And so what I want to say, women who register with us, they register with their ID. There are several instances in the register process. So she goes to the office or she reaches out to us and says, I want to participate. She has to fill in a form. She has to send her ID. We ask her for her social media. We usually have her Facebook. We usually have her Instagram, one of the two or even the two. We usually ask for a second or a third phone number from her friend, from her mom. So we have referral contacts from her. We have her address. We have her job. We have her WhatsApp, obviously, and we have a lot of things, and obviously her ID, right? So there's a lot of things we're already in the verification process. But I imagine most of you have positive experience, because, as I said, I got to Medellin. It was basically my first city in Colombia, and I was blown away. It was 10 years ago. It was not safer 10 years ago than it is now. And I was a woman traveling by myself. And so if I was able to do it 10 years ago at age of 24, you would be able to do the same. Medellin for dating is amazing, because the women are very beautiful and very great and very open, very nice, like very approachable. They want you to feel at home. Like Medellin, the people are just really cool people, really nice people. That's why it is also one of the most, I think it won the award a couple of years ago for the most innovative city in the world, because it's really upcoming, progressing. I was talking to Manuela today, and she was like, Maria, I'm so angry, I'm so pissed off, because I love my city. It's such an amazing place, and there are a couple of bad people where they're all over the world, and now it's like in the bad news, and people have to be careful. And I said, yeah, Manuela, don't worry. Guys, if I would have listened to the website of the safety department of Germany, I would have never went, I think that's the right grammar, to Latin America. And never to Ecuador, never to Colombia, never to Guatemala, never to Honduras, never to Mexico, never to Panama, never to Costa Rica, never to ever to any of those countries. I've been to all of them, and for several times, for months, even I lived in lots of them. And every country, like the US, like other cities, especially because cities have problems, right? And so depending what you do, where you are, where you like, how you move yourself, you can obviously be safe or not safe. I mean, there's a lot of common sense, right? And so, but obviously dating, you're more vulnerable maybe than just being in a normal travel environment, because you're opening yourself to meet people, to really be with locals. And believe me, the Colombian locals in the Medellin, the Paisas are just great people. But you have to be a little bit careful, right? Not trust everybody, not go to places, not take a lot of, like, go to a lot of party. Look to the people you talk to. If you have very attractive women coming to you, hitting on you in bars, in the street, you know that they are working girls. It's not illegal here, and you have to be careful. So, and now talking a little bit about what is the difference using our service and using other services, or using just a website, or just using a app, right? So there are a lot of great places to meet through apps. And there are a lot of different apps and a lot of different websites, right? There are in Colombia, there are different self-organized websites where you pay less, but you save a couple of dollars, but you don't have any safety measurements, really, right? But anyway, you have to be like in times before, when you go in a bar and you meet people on the street, or you met them on the bar, you also let your parents know, your friends know, or anybody know where you're at, what you're doing, who you're meeting. You just didn't believe anybody just blindly, right? And that doesn't change. So there are countries where definitely it's easy and no problem and safe to do so. Colombia is not that country. You have to be a little bit careful because obviously being a foreigner, coming from a different country, having a certain status, obviously you're very attractive for a lot of people. Some are very religious, like they want to meet you, have a good time, make you feel at home and just welcome you. Some obviously might want to take advantage of you. Most don't. But if you give papaya, if you give like the opportunity, and if you put yourself in those places, it can go wrong, right? And so I would definitely recommend you date in Colombia. I would definitely recommend you date in Medellin. But be clear in what you're looking for, and don't get distracted by the beauty, by all those amazing women who are very accessible, who don't mind any age difference, etc., etc. Where there are parties involved, where there are penthouses involved, where there are private parties involved, where you get invited to people where you don't know. You have to be careful, right? Those is common sense for me, and obviously that is something really to take care of, right? When you go to any country where you're going to meet people. So now you want to date, right? So what are you going to do, and why is it so much better using an international premium matchmaking service? That's what we're promoting here, than just any other thing, right? So first of all, profile verification. We do verify men and women. Everybody is registered with an ID in our website and in our database, right? The women come into the office, they talk personally, have offices. So that is another thing. Where do you find somebody who has offices? Where do you find somebody talk to face to? If you have a problem, I'm not saying everything will be perfect, right? You still do international dating. There can be challenges, but we help you. You call us, we call her. If you have a problem, I had a client, like when was that, last year, one of my VIPs, I had to solve a problem. They matched, they went into vacation to Morocco, South Africa. They were far away, and she didn't have any money on her, and they got in a fight, and they didn't want to stay together. You know, it was not my responsibility because they were matched. They were a couple. They did their thing, right? It was 6 months, 3 months after he worked with me. So it was not really my responsibility. But she called me crying. She didn't know what to do. He called me. He was angry, didn't know what to do. So I obviously helped between the two to solve the problem. He gave her some money so that she can go to Colombia. The problem was solved. Everybody was happy. But they didn't know how they couldn't talk to each other. They were really angry, whatever. You know, it wasn't my cup of tea, let's say. But obviously I want everybody to be happy. And where do you get that? So starting with that, right? But then now let's just go with the profile verification. Where do you know what is the woman who is that person, right? So with us, what do the women do, and the men too, before you go on a date? The woman register with an ID. We have another instance who really looks that the person who submitted the profile is really matching the age with the ID. Is the information clear? Are the photos clear? Is that the same person? You know, is there any, like, is she over 18, obviously, etc., etc. Then we have another person above that who is verifying if that profile maybe comes out in any adult porn site and any adult working site on the internet. So if that's the case, the profile is going to be rejected and not being in our database. So there's a lot of things we're going to verify. That you have to sign an IMBRA form, for example. The women also get safety because they're always concerned as well. It's not just you guys. The women are also concerned to meet people from other countries. So they get your information. You have to fill out an IMBRA form that is like your background information. So you have to provide that before she even goes on a date with you, before you even go and exchange phone numbers. So there's a lot of things we do to make sure that you will be fine. We help you and organize the dates. We set up the restaurant reservations. We know at what time where you are. You have a date at 6. We know where you are at 6. You can take a translator with you who's going to be with you in the process. So you're not alone. Even if you don't take a translator, you're not alone, because me, Manuela, Claudia, ladies, everybody in this thing will make sure that you'll be fine. We organize the tours. We have the drivers. We do the airport pickup. We know the hotels. We recommend you that. We set up the trip for you, etc., etc. So with us, you have a premium service. You have an extra everything. You have an agency helping you with everything you have to take care of. You're not alone, which is amazing in a country where you don't know anybody. Afterwards, you might not use us and need us anymore because you made friends. We met women You met people, you made friendships. So next time, maybe you might not reach out to us anymore and say, hey, Maria, can you send me the driver? Or Maria, can you set up the restaurant for me? Or I do need a date. We do that for all the clients, and we do that on the tour. You have the hotel included, very personalized, very close process where we are with you. Everybody who has been with us, maybe guys, you can comment a little bit, as I said, like say, there's a huge difference going on your own to Colombia, going to your own, which you also can do. Don't get me wrong, go to Colombia, have fun, travel, stay in the tourist areas, get recommendations, but go to Colombia. And if you want to date in Colombia, date in Colombia, but try to make sure that you stay. And even if you do want to make the self-service because you want to save a couple of dollars, or that woman sounds amazing and you should want to go there, do it. But when you do that, and also take cautions, like security cautions, right? Let people know where you're going, with who you're going to. As I said, we have an ID. We know her name, her last name, etc., etc. We can find her friends. We know her referrals. It's a very different process and all that. Yeah. So in general, obviously, it's good to not to show off in Colombia when you travel. It doesn't matter if you date or not date. Like, I would not use my Rolex. Or if you see the woman, sometimes I saw that the other day, I had a couple who got engaged, one of my elite clients, who was so happy. And, you know, she got the ring, and you could see, like, when you go out in public, she turns the ring around so that you don't see the diamond, if not only the gold ring. Things like that, that you don't show off the diamonds, you don't show off the gold, you don't show off the Rolex, you know, you don't show off your phone in the middle of the road, anywhere, whatever, right? But you will see, when you see the locals taking out their phone on the street, you can take out your phone on the streets. But if you see locals don't do anything similar, then don't do any similar, right? And just try to ask questions, ask us, stay with us, talk to the team, talk to everybody. We're here to help you. But please don't be afraid to go to Medellin. It's an amazing city. It's a beautiful place, amazing people. But be careful when everything is like, you know, I always say, for example, to the tour guys, we go on the social, and then usually they go out after Friday or Saturday evening after the tour. So go out, but don't go out alone. Take one or two of the other guys with you, and take some of the girls from the social with you, right? Because they will also make sure that you stay in the group and go to the right places. Sometimes I had guys say, no, I want to go alone, like maybe not in the social, but a day later or whatever. I want to go alone by myself. And I always say, okay, do that, but I don't really recommend it. I know when he says that, what he's looking for, that I don't recommend it. If you want to do it, do it. And there are some places, and you have to, I told that some guys as well, when you go in a bar by yourself, or if you go with somebody, whatever, don't let your drink, if that is your drink and you're in the bar, don't look in that direction, let the drink here, because there might be somebody putting something in your drink. So always have your drink in front of you and look at your drink. Those things, right? You as a man often don't think about that, because that's usually a thing a lot of women do, because they know I have to take care of my drink. Because it could get bad, right? But obviously don't show around a lot of things. Don't look for drugs. Don't look for crazy party. Don't go for working girls. Don't go for crazy penthouse parties where you can get everything for free and included and whatever, you know, like use a certain common sense and don't go crazy. If you don't go crazy at home, then don't go crazy here. And if you go crazy, then go with somebody you trust, you know, and who you can really know that you are in a good environment and a good thing. I love Colombia, amazing country, and I hope you guys get motivated to come here, because it is, you will not regret it. I know you will not regret it.